You've seen that happen in 2020, 2021. They say, no rent. So, okay, well, you still got to pay your mortgage, don't you? So if you don't want your credit score destroyed, if you don't want your relationship with your bank destroyed, you still got to pay your mortgage. But you're not allowed to collect rent. It says, hey, Derek, if you're adding a room or bathrooms to a property, does that require a permit, or is it just more for outside additions? It was mentioned in the book, but I didn't know if it meant any and all additions or certain ones. Well, that depends where you live, obviously. So, different municipalities, different states, they're going to have different rules and laws about things. A lot of these permits, there's national codes of certain things, but a lot of permits are going to be based on the specific municipality that you live in, the specific town or city. And, then you got to decide, well, what's the official rules and law there? And most of the time, you should probably follow the rules. Most of the time, you should probably do, what the city recommends or requires there. In general, you're going to want to follow the rules of the township or municipality that you're working with. Thomas says, hi, Derek. Going back to the idea of continuous learning, could a landmark such as a black belt or a PhD simply seem as a qualification to learn even more? I would hate to think I have X qualification that means I know everything. Well, let's talk about the PhD first. What is a PhD? A PhD, there's a funny saying in academia that a PhD, which means Doctor of Philosophy of a particular topic, getting a PhD means that you learn more and more about less and less until you know nothing at all. So, meaning that you learn, more and more little details about, more specific, nuanced topics until you realize that there's a lot of things that you don't know anything at all. You can't be certain about anything. So, that's the joke version. The real version is, what does a PhD do? It's, I think that means that you have a basic foundation, or maybe a really good foundation of what are the things that happened in the history of that topic. So if a PhD means anything, at least historically it meant this, that you have a pretty good grasp of what are the things that have happened historically within your area of interest or your area of expertise. And knowing about the past will help you make some decisions about the future, won't it? So, if you have a PhD in a legitimate topic, something that's math or science related, something that matters in the world, you can make a lot of money with that. Well, you can make some money. You can make some money as a teacher. You might make a lot of money if you're a good investor. And, but yeah, that's a foundation where after you get your PhD, you go do some independent research. Before you were doing research, in your doctoral program, you might have been doing research under, your mentoring professor. So now you're doing some independent research. Now you've learned you've learned enough about the history of your topic that, hopefully you can advance the topic in some way. And really, if you had one or two notable ideas in your whole life, if you had one or two notable ideas, you might get a Nobel Prize later. You might become quite famous, because most people never have an original thought. And if that sounds harsh, think about it, but it's the truth. Most people really never have an original thought. And if they do, they're too stupid to act on it, because they don't have the confidence. They haven't done the rest of the work during wartime to have the confidence to go implement that original thought. So most people that might accidentally have a thought, like a creative thought, it goes to waste. It does nothing. That's a shame. It's unnecessary. It's a shame. So yeah, I just think that, I have a master's degree in business. Does that mean I'm a master of business? Well, I have that degree. I have it from the best university in the world in my area. But I learn new things about business every day. And I'm going to have to continue to learn for the rest of my life. Who else did that? Buffett did that. Charlie Munger's still learning stuff. He's 98. He'll be 99 if he makes it to January. He'll be 99. He's still learning new stuff. So I think, that continuous learning. Jake got his black belt, in his 20s. Something like 16, 17 years ago, he got his black belt. He's still learning new stuff. He's still learning. So the real black belts, the guys that are, and women, the people that are real black belts that are serious, they keep training, they keep learning new things. So those are the people that I want to learn from, because they have the right philosophy and they've engaged in the right behaviors, and those are the best teachers you could have. My friend Gilbert Burns. Gilbert's he's multi-time world champion. It sounds crazy. I think he was like, I don't know, like 7-time Brazilian champion and 3-time world champion in jiu-jitsu. And he liked jiu-jitsu so much that, not only did he make that a career for himself, he pivoted into MMA, and he's one of the most respected people over at UFC. But he's the lady he married is also a jiu-jitsu champion, and I've been around their children, or I've been around their one son, and he's happy to try to choke you too. So he looks like a friendly little kid until he gets his arm around your neck. So I don't know. These are people that they loved that topic, and they loved it together, or they're teaching their children, and they're learning new things, and that's what winners do. If you want to be best in the world at something, you have to have an obsession or that level of excitement about it. Blal says, Derek, I live and work in California and struggling to decide where to move to invest in real estate. Any thoughts on how I can overcome that? Well, I don't want to buy things in California. I could say that about it. You don't have control of the property. You have some crazy politician saying that, you can't collect rent for a year. Oh, hey, now we extended the policy for 2 more years. You can't collect rent for 3 years. So I'm just scared of in any of these communist strongholds, New York, New Jersey, California, Illinois, wherever there's a lot of communists. I think it's dangerous to have rental properties there, especially residential rentals that, you've seen that happen in 2020, 2021, where they say, no rent. So, okay, well, you still got to pay your mortgage, don't you? So if you don't want your credit score destroyed, if you don't want your relationship with your bank destroyed, you still got to pay your mortgage. But you're not allowed to collect rent. That's that's not a good situation, is it? So be careful, where you buy things. And, I'd prefer to be in places that have, clear legal systems and, a strong history of upholding the laws in their courts in actuality, not just laws on the book, but, firm case law or good precedents where the judges tend to enforce the laws of the community consistently. So if your tenant owes you rent, they got to pay up or move, Raul Ledwin says, thank you. You're welcome, man. Raul says, hey, Derek, what are your thoughts on strategically being in a large city versus suburbs as a real estate investor? Well, I mean, some of this is a lifestyle choice. Like, where do you want to live? If you don't live near the stuff, you're in trouble. Because if you have external managers and you're not there managing anything, somebody's going to steal from you. Somebody's going to take advantage of you. And, it's not somebody. Several people are going to take advantage of you. Several people are going to outright steal from you. You got to be there to keep an eye on things. You got to be there and know what's going on. So, you have to. So, where do you want to live? And, look at the profits that could be made in one environment versus another. And imagine, are those profits sustainable over time? What are the factors that would allow the rents to be sustainable over time? What are the things that could happen that could f that up? Something that happened in a lot of states recently, California and New York are the worst, but also in Illinois. Illinois just lost Caterpillar. Caterpillar is a Fortune 100 company. And, Caterpillar's moving out of state. They don't want to deal with the bullshit in Illinois anymore. And then, another company, Citadel Capital. Citadel is, I think it's the biggest financial firm in Illinois. They're relocating to Florida. And, the main guy over there, Ken Griffin, he said he had a, public, kerfluffle, a little public shit talking with the governor of Illinois and the mayor about they say, well, it's not safe. It's not safe for his employees to go to work. So he just moved entirely. And this is a man that's quite wealthy and has some very high paying jobs in his organization. He's like, no, Illinois, we're moving to Florida. And a lot of companies have said California, New York, and they go to Texas, they go to Florida. So things are booming there. So in the place, say there's a place called Peoria, Illinois, where Caterpillar's home office was. They lose a Fortune 100 company. That was the biggest thing. That was the biggest employer in their whole metro area. So to lose that company and all the other tangential services that would go with it, that's going to be very devastating to the real estate prices down there. It's going to be very bad for the real estate prices. Very bad. Very bad. So and that means your home is now worth less. If you own property there, it's going to be worth less, and if you rent it, it's going to be worth less because there's less jobs and lower paying jobs going to be in the community. So it can make a big difference. You got to think through, where's the money coming from to pay your rents or to pay you, period. Where's that money coming from? Is that sustainable? Where is that sustainable? Where is that less sustainable? What could happen and go wrong? And then 10 other things. What else could happen and what else could happen and what else could happen? And, then you start to have a little perspective of, well, probably given the circumstances that seem to be, I should probably set up shop over here or set up your business over here, over there. So you'll make that decision of, I don't want to live in the suburbs myself, and I don't want to commute back and forth to the suburbs to deal with shit. So I'm not interested in that myself. But yeah, man, up to you. It's a lifestyle choice for you. It's a lifestyle choice for you to consider, Raul. A good question, though. Good question.
Because of my limiting belief about the money, I didn't really look at these commercial real estate transactions because they just seem out of my reach. But now, I mean, I could really look at these deals and they have the ability to basically set me up for retirement with just one or two deals. So it's pretty amazing to wrap my mind around that. I'm really glad that I took this program because it doesn't tell you what to do. It's more of like these are all the options available in real estate, and then we could pick what we want to do within those options. It's just educating yourself about what's available. So that's what's pretty incredible about the program. So I really appreciate Derek, Tony, and Travis, for all their hard work on this program. And for anybody else that's on the fence thinking about it, I mean, really, it's a no-brainer. You're gonna get all the information that you need as far as how to get the money, how to evaluate deals, and I mean, it's just up to you to decide which avenue you're going to take. But I mean, there's really nothing holding you back as far as like after taking this program to take action. So that's what I would advise. Take action.